Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all in the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all in the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have no...
Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all in the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all in the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh, yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Okay, here I am. All right. Yeah, we've been glitching out this morning. I think at first there was no sound, at least on this side, and then, yeah, it glitched out and then repeated. So I'm not sure what's going on. But we're here now. I'm here now. Welcome. Welcome, Tomocrat. Good morning. Welcome to the office and the morning grind. We got Zero the Blade here, and BGD. Hey, Mike. Good morning. And Tomocrat, ready to breathe and sip? Hey, let's go ahead and do that. Here's my drink right here. Let's go ahead and breathe and sip this morning. Let's start with the mental health part of the show. Let's breathe and sip. 2 deep breaths. Deep inhale, complete exhale. And then take a sip of your favorite beverage. Here we go. There we go. There we go. That's a good way to start Saturday morning. Let's see. Who else is here? Oh, Hawaiian Shirt Guy says, good afternoon from the UK. Good afternoon from the UK. Good to see you here. Here's to you, Hawaiian Shirt Guy, in the UK. So yeah, once again this morning, I was trying to figure out what to talk about. I do have our notes here. I found our notes about different ones that we need to take a look at. We had a great discussion last night. I really enjoyed the discussion we had yesterday on realism in RPGs. So if you hadn't seen that, there are individual episodes on realism in RPG combat, specifically realism in RPG combat, based on the essay that John Clements wrote years ago. That was back in 2003 on the subject, which sounds like a different world and seems like a different world as far as RPG and RPG publishing and design goes, because there weren't that many independents. That was basically the start of a whole bunch of independent kinds of RPGs as we understand them today. And it was also kind of the start of a lot of the Western martial arts, swordsmanship kinds of things that, we have a lot more of today. And so it was kind of a blast from the past. I had to find that on the Internet Archive because I remember reading it years ago. So that was a great discussion. You can watch the whole thing with everybody's comments and context on replay. That was last night. And then also you can check out individual videos on this channel. Good afternoon, James. Good afternoon. So let's see. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what to do this morning. I've got to think about this in advance greater. I try to do that, but I've been trying to get a whole bunch of stuff done, and it's just not working. And this place is an absolute wreck. This place is a wreck. I'm gonna have to do some cleaning today. I got to cut grass again today, but I've got to do some serious cleaning here in the house. Everything, my office desk is like a magnet that it attracts everything because I live so much right here. It just, everything attracts over here. And hey, I was working on, I'm very proud of the way these Stark infantry are coming. Let's see if we get enough light in here to show them. I was working on the Stark infantry last night on the Crafter's Corner where we were talking about those. And they're some of my favorites as well. They're coming out very nice. Check those out. Whoop, here we go. So this is some Stark foot soldiers. And I've been using the speed paints on them. These are not slap chopped. They were actually painted with they were primed with the Wolf Gray primer from Army Painter. So, they're mainly gray, but I went ahead and primed them gray. And I thought that's actually become a really good strategy, I think, because these guys have painted up fast and then use the speed paints. It's mostly the speed paints on top of the painted primer. And I think that's going to create a really great looking unit too. So this has been a completely new experience trying to paint up these guys for an army, because I remember when I was painting miniatures as a kid for like a Bretonian army, I remember my brother was saying the same thing. I remember that taking just forever. I remember that seeming like a task that was just going to go on and on to the end of time. And my brother was saying the same thing because he was younger than I was. He was painting up high elves, and he said, I remember just like feeling like I was working on that high elf army for ever and ever and ever and ever. But I guess now, as an adult, looking at kind of speed painting techniques and not trying to make, just trying to get them tabletop quality in a reasonable time. Man, whole units paint up kind of fast. I got a bunch of basing to do, though. Tomocrat says that organ shifting. Yes, we talked about organ shifting. That was Zero Theory. No, was that? Oh. We have the Phoenix crew here. We have the Zero crew as well. We talked about organ shifting last night. Good morning, Sable Phoenix. Good morning. Sable Phoenix was on the show last night as well. Anyway, all of that's going on. I've also on the Goodnight Sword Kickstarter, I got some more people's surveys in. If you are part of that Kickstarter, please do go ahead and fill out that survey. The Kickstarter should deposit the funds to me on Thursday, and then I'm going to be sending people's books out. I haven't gotten the books to sign yet, but I have the books ordered. I would think it shouldn't be too much longer before they actually ship out to me. So the books that I need to sign have already been ordered. And I've also got all the packaging ordered so that when those come in, I can do it. But all I need is your address. So I need addresses. And if you are getting one book signed and you would like a dedication in it, there's a place in that for a dedication. A place in the survey to put what kind of dedication you'd like. So I'm looking forward to wrapping that up and then also moving on to the next thing. I don't know what that's going to be yet because these Tales of Rabavania books are taking a while. Game ready doesn't have to be parade ready. Yeah, you're talking about the miniatures. Yeah, it's true. So, okay, so I wasn't looking at, I thought we should look at Apocalypse World today. I was trying to come up with one that was kind of easy for this morning because I still have some games here that I want to get into that are going to, on this list here, that are going to be deep dives. So I'm still trying to look at 10 Candles. I want to look at 10 Candles. People are talking about 10 Candles. And I thought 10 Candles might be a good one for today, but apparently I don't have that game. I thought I did. I was looking for it again today, and every time I try to go download it or find it, for some reason online, I can't. Maybe it's on drive-through or something like that. But for some reason, I've tried twice to go and get 10 Candles, and I can't. So I'll get 10 Candles because I do want to look at that one. I also want to look at. I got the Guide to Hell over there, but I really wanted to get into the Guide to Hell when we started talking about Theophany design, because I want to go through the Guide to Hell and also the Warriors of Heaven in detail. Those will be deep grinds, deep dives, deep grinds. That's true too. Legend of the Five Rings, Lamentation of the Flame Princess. Those are still on this list. Of course, they still need to look more at Pathfinder too. Oh, Kings of War we did look at. Oh, this is good. We can cross a few things off the list. Kings of War we did look at. Eventually we'll transition to, that was a tabletop. That was the war game that I'm painting up over here. We can look more at that later. Fate of Cthulhu we looked at. Okay, Fate of Cthulhu we checked out. Fate of Cthulhu. I would like to look more at Ruins of Symbaroum. I say Symbaroum. Yeah, because we like the world building in that. Blades in the Dark is still on the list. Oh, basic role-playing for Chaosium. Okay, we've done actually a few more of these than I thought. Basic role-playing by Chaosium. We have taken a look at that one now. Oathmark and Vanguard. Those aren't role-playing games, but I still want to take a look at them. Rivers of London. I still will play the Rivers of London game, the solo game. I've got to be in the right mood for that. War Master, I want to take a look at War Master. And sometime we're going to take a look at GURP Space in detail. So those are basically some of the things that are still on the list. I just got to have the right time. Zero the Blade, Organ Guard. I'm curious about the organ shifting. What do you do with your diaphragm? Obviously, you cannot breathe while you're doing that. Yet, we were talking about last night, and yeah, I know. Still Mongoose says I leave for a minute and suddenly people we're talking about some way. Yeah, people are talking about organ shifting as a way to avoid critical damage in combat. That's what's going on. Well, it's got to be short term, and it's also got to be something you got to do relatively quickly. Like, oh, the sword's incoming. Organ shift. Sable Phoenix says, I can send a copy of the PDF for temporary review before you buy it. Or, thank you. Or I might, I could reach out and ask for a review copy too. Simba Room is a good book I discovered. I have that one. And it's got a really good following. And from the world building and perspective, I've got the versions that I think are the 5e. I've got the 5e versions. And apparently there is a dedicated RPG. So we could look at it. If we had that one, we'd look at the RPG mechanics too. So this was a 5e version of the world. But it seemed like it was a really neat world building. When I was discovered that discovered I have that one when I was looking for my Hackmaster. So again, a lot to be said about Hackmaster. But anyway, Apocalypse World is on the list, and there's also Dungeon. What's the one? Dungeon World. Dungeon World. Isn't Dungeon World powered by the Apocalypse? We might have to look at that one too. Both of these I read, but it was a long, long time ago. Dungeon World. Good morning, Andrew. I looked at Apocalypse World a long time ago when we were first thinking about doing an RPG over with Infinite Black, and we were trying to see what was going on. Let me bring it up. Dungeon World. Yeah, Dungeon World is powered by the Apocalypse. Okay. Let's go the classic here. Because it has been a long time since I've looked at this. But it comes up a lot. Dungeon World is powered by the Apocalypse, but different enough. Oh, Hawaiian Shirt Guy says, Dungeon World is powered by the Apocalypse, but differs enough that powered by the Apocalypse purists hate it. Oh, okay. So this is the original, right? And this is the game. This game has the sex moves, right? So Apocalypse World. Character playbooks, print out the character playbooks, character reference sheets, and MC play sheets. Contents. So what do we got here as far as in this book? The basics, Apocalypse World, setting up playbooks, the conversation, moves, and dice. Oh, yeah, everything is like a move, right? The particular things that make rules kick are in the moves. So I remember that vaguely. Everything is a move. Is anybody in a powered by the or not a or in a Apocalypse World game or just a powered by the Apocalypse game? Are people playing that? I know it comes up quite often in the comments here, so that's why I thought it would be a good one to look at today. So the basics, the conversation, gear and other crap, harm and healing, character improvement, timeline of play, why to play. The playbooks. Oh, okay, so that's like the characters, right? The different people, different types of people. Character creation. So character creation comes next. I think that's a good order. Master of Ceremonies, the first session, threats, moves, snowball, PC versus PC. Oh, actually, there's a lot more here. The basic moves. The basic moves peripheral moves, battle moves, character moves. Those look like the specific moves for the moves or some kind of special ability maybe for the characters. Harm and healing, gear and crap, improvement. Oh, the count. So this is this the origin of the countdown clock? Is that one of the things we were supposed to look at in here? So Tomocrat says, I have a love-hate with Powered by the Apocalypse system. It's a very good one-session system, but I don't know how it would hold up for a long-term campaign. Steel Mongoose says, if you're fast enough to rearrange vital organs during a spear thrust, maybe you're fast enough to parry or even just move out of the way. Maybe. Yep, Apocalypse World is a nasty and brutish post-apocalyptic wasteland. So sex moves are a thing. I think I remember talking to RM about this. James Bacon says, so when a game is powered by the apocalypse, is referring to this book Heath is reviewing, because I can't find a book called Powered by the Apocalypse. That's my understanding. Yeah, okay. Sable thing that says, yes, Powered by the Apocalypse is just a game that's influenced for greater or lesser extent by this game design. Okay. That was my understanding too. So thank you for the confirmation. Hawaiian Shirt Guy says, yep, the game with the sex moves that started a huge and, in my opinion, unwanted trend toward narrative design in RPGs. Okay, clocks originated here too. Okay, cool. Blades in the Dark. Blades in the Dark is on this list over here. So Blades in the Dark. Yep. Okay, we're gonna figure out what sex moves. What happens with the sex moves here? Okay. All right. Well, okay. Let's figure out okay. So let's go to the basics. So what is this? If we don't know, and like I said, this seems to be important. Let me turn off this sidebar. All right, so the basics. So this is a new system, but it's also a particular world. Nobody remembers how or why. Maybe nobody ever knew. The oldest living survivors have childhood memories of it. Cities burning, society chaos, then collapse. Families set up to panicked flight. The weird nights and the smoldering sky made midnight into a blood-colored half day. Now the world is not what it once was. Look around you, evidently. Certainly not what it was, but close your eyes, open your brain. Something is wrong. The limits of perception, something howling, ever present, full of hate and terror. From this, the world's psychic maelstrom, none of us have shelter. Setting up to play. All right. Well, this says Apocalypse World takes quite a few sessions to play, so choose friends with space in their schedules for commitment. This game really kicks in around the 6 session mark and can go much longer. I haven't ever seen somebody say that before. I've seen several games that are very session focused, and in fact, I've been talking about that kind of design. But this game really kicks in around the 6 session mark. Huh. So the game's playbooks and reference sheets contain all the rules that other players need to play. Rules for creating and introducing characters. Oh, let's see. We should look at, let's look to see if we've got a character sheet. Are there character sheets in the back? Or let me see if I have character sheets. Okay. I don't see them there. Let me see if I've got character sheets when I downloaded this. Apocalypse World. Apocalypse World Basic Extended Rule Books. Okay, so this looks like a character sheet. Okay, let's take this down. It says extended books. So this might be not the basics from the character from that of what we're about to look at, but this does look like a character sheet. So we've got, this looks like new kinds of people. The faceless, the water bearer, the news. So here's, for instance, this is the faceless. So you've got like a folio, I guess, here. I guess that's why it's considered your playbook. So name, look, stats. So here are stats. So this is a good one to look at with the character sheet here because the stats are so different. So we've got stats. The stats are cool, hard, hot, sharp, and weird. So cool is do something under fire. We got an option to highlight here. Hard is go aggro, sucker someone, do battle. Hot is seduce or manipulate. Sharp is read a sitch. I guess that's like situation. Read a person. Weird is open your brain. HX is help or interfere, session end. I guess that could be damage. Is HX damage? Faceless special. So this is character class. They may not call it class, but like class specific, right? If you and another character have sex, so here you go. If you and another character have sex, hold 1. If they get into shit, when you or they can spend your hold, either you or they can spend your hold and you are there. Okay, I don't really understand that. Well, improvement. Get hot +1, get +1 sharp, get a new faceless move. Here is harm. Oh, no, here is harm. So HX, I bet that's not, here is harm over here. Countdown. When life becomes untenable. So we got countdown clock. Something here. Stabilized. Come back with -1 hard. When life becomes untenable, come back with -1 hard. Come back with +1 weird, max +3. Change into a new playbook or die. Faceless moves. So I guess this is, you check the ones that you've got or something. Choose your masks, your masks type, sports mask, gas mask, combat helmet, hood, baklava, carved mask. See, like, for instance, okay, so this is the quarantine. It says, so that, like, this is the sex move here. If you and another character have sex, roll plus sharp. On a hit, ask their player questions. On a 10+, ask 2. On a 7 to 9, ask 1. Whom do you miss most? What do you hope for the future? What makes you feel beautiful, loved? Who was your first kiss? Did you like it? If I ask, would you stay with me? In what ways are your mind and soul pure? They may ask you one in return. So, okay, so that's what this looks like. I'm going to take this down. We'll go over to the main book again. So that's what a character sheet is. A hold is a point you can spend to gain narrative control to some degree. Okay, so that's why, like, you could be there. Well, I know. Andrew says it sounds like they're setting expectations low if you have to wait that long in order to get good. Yeah, so clocks. Yeah, so we're going to get into that. That's an important thing for us to look at, the clocks. Okay, thank you, Sable. Let's see, just scrolling through here. So for a meta sense, everyone has sex with everyone. Well, I think it's interesting. Is this looking pretentious? I don't know. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what that one sounded like to me. Yeah. Okay, so we'll get more into that. Okay, so but that's what that character sheet looks like. So let's just keep going. Okay, so setting up to play playbooks. Okay, so that was what we were looking at. That's your playbook is your character. Okay, conversation, moves and dice. Okay, the particular there we go. Chat is hopping this morning. This is great. I love it when the chat's hopping. Moves and dice, particular things that make rules kick, make the rules kick in. Oh, particular things that make the rules kick in are called moves. Apocalypse World. All of that's the top. All of this, the character playbooks list the same set of basic moves, plus each playbook lists special moves just for that character. Your threats might list special moves too. When a player says that her character does something listed as a move, that's when she rolls, and that's the only time she does. So you only roll when your character takes a move. The rule for moves is to do it, do it. Okay, in order for it to be a move and for the players to roll dice, the character has to do something that counts as that move. And whenever the character does something that counts as a move, it's the move and the player, it's that move, or it's the move, and the player rolls dice. Usually it's unambiguous. Damn it, I guess I crawl out of here. I try to keep my head down. I'm doing it under fire. Yep. But there are two ways they sometimes don't line up. It's your job as the MC, that's like the game master, to deal with them. The first is when a player says only that her character makes a move without having her character actually take any such action. For instance, I go aggro on him. Your answer then should be, cool, what do you do? I seize the radio by force. Cool, what do you do? I try to fast talk him. Cool, what do you do? I guess I guess that's the equivalent. I go aggro on him because we saw aggro over there. So I suppose that's the equivalent of I roll insight, or I roll arcana or something. So it's saying don't just say that. Say actually what your character is doing in universe. Second is when a player has her character take an action that counts as a move, but she doesn't realize it or doesn't intend for it to be a move. For instance, I shove him out of my way. Your answer should be, cool, you're going aggro. I pout. Well, if you really don't like me, cool, you're trying to manipulate him. I squeeze back into the tractor and the wall so they don't see me. I squeeze way back between the tractor and the wall so they don't see me. Cool. So you're acting under fire. You don't ask in order to give the player a chance to decline to roll. You ask in order to give the player a chance to revise her character's action if she really didn't mean to make the move. Cool, you're going aggro? Legit. Oh, no. If he's really blocking the door, whatever, I'll go another way. Not legit. Well, no, I'm not just shoving him out of the way. No, I'm just shoving him out of the way. I don't want to roll for it. The roll for moves is if you do it, you do it. So make with the dice. Okay. Yeah, I believe it's 2d6. Yeah, players roll 2 dice to roll plus a stat. The player rolls 2 dice, adds them, and adds the stat. If the sum total is 6 or less, that's a miss. If it's a 7 or more, it's a hit. 7 to 9 is a weak hit. 10 plus is a strong hit. So I think everything is based off this. So when you're making a move, you have to roll dice. 2 dice plus the stat. 6 or less, it's a miss. 7 or more, it's a hit. 7 to 9, weak. 10 plus, strong. I think that's what you have to remember. All the moves list what should happen on a hit. 7 to 9 or 10 plus, so follow them. Many of them list what happens on a miss, so follow those too. The basic moves, though, just tell the players to be prepared for the worst. That's when it's your turn. Some of the rules say take +1 forward or take -1 ongoing while, or the like. +1 or -1 forward just means the player adds 1 or subtracts 1 from their very next roll. +1 or -1 ongoing means to add 1 or subtract 1 from all their rolls from now until whenever the bonus or penalty is done. Each of the characters also has a special move that kicks in when they have sex with someone. For most of the characters, the special sex moves apply when they have sex with any other player character, with another player character, not with just anybody. but for a few of them, okay, wait a minute. For most of the characters, the special sex moves apply when they have sex with another player's character, not with oh just anybody, but for a few of them, oh just anybody will do. Let's see. Just going through a little bit, looking through the chat a little bit here. Let's see. Okay. So the moves. Okay. So the stats. Okay. Cool. So the stats are cool. Remaining cool under fire, rational, clear thinking, calm, calculating, unfazable. Roll plus cool to do something under fire. Hard, meaning hard-hearted, violent, aggressive, strong-willed, mean, physically and emotionally strong. Roll plus hard to go aggro on somebody. Hot, meaning fucking hot, attractive, subtle, graceful, sexy, beautiful, inspiring, exciting. Roll plus hot to seduce or manipulate somebody. Sharp, meaning sharp-witted, clever, alert, smart, perceptive, educated, skilled, trained. Roll plus sharp to read a person or read a situation. Okay, that is the sitch, so the situation. Weird, meaning a weirdo, psychic, genius, uncanny, lucky, strange, prophetic, touched. Roll plus weird to open your brain in the world's psychic maelstrom. HX meaning history. Okay, like RX for prescription or DX for diagnosis. Particularly shared history, how well one character knows another. It doesn't mean how well your character likes the other, just how well your character knows the other. It's also asymmetrical. A character might know yours very well, like HX plus 2, while yours doesn't know mine very well at all, like HX minus 1. Roll plus HX to help or interfere with someone. The maximum for any stat is plus 3, minimum negative 3. Most will be between negative 1 and plus 2. Notation, cool minus 2 means your cool is at negative 2. Weird is 0. Okay, that seems to make sense. Each player highlights 2 of the character's stats. Okay, we saw a button that said highlight. One chosen by another player and one chosen by you, the MC. The character's development over time depends on her highlighted stats. So each player highlights 2 of her character stats, one chosen by another player and one chosen by the game master. Tom Grat says, this is a bard's dream. I seduce everyone. Steel Mongoose says, I'm starting to grok the sex moves concept. You know, I think that this is this one of the sex moves we're currently reading about? You know, I understand I remember thinking, okay, I understand what they're trying to do. By having sex change the relationships between characters. So, like, it seems to me, now whether or not you wanted it at your table and whether or not you want to play with it is another thing. But I was interested in it from the perspective of, well, no, wait a minute. It is actually changing something about the game and about the characters. Let's see. Okay. So all of the different character types come with their own assortment of gear and other crap, including holdings, gangs, gigs, followers, crews, workspaces, weapons, and specialized equipment. Most individual items of gear or crap gets a little list of descriptive tags, like Magnum, 3 harm, close, reload, loud, or followers, fortune plus 2, surplus, 1 barter, augury, want, judgment, savagery. Okay. These tags work in 3 different ways. Some of them are straightforward and mechanical, like 3 harm, fortune plus 2, surplus, and want. Some note the circumstances under which the thing can be useful, like close or reload. Some tell you, the MC, things to say when the character uses the thing, like loud, 1 barter, augury, judgment, or savagery. Okay, here's something about a clock and harm and healing. When a character gets hurt, the player marks segments on her harm countdown clock. Mark 1 full segment for each 1 harm, starting with the segment 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Typically, when a character takes harm, it's equal to the harm rating of the weapon, attack, or mishap minus the armor rating of the character's armor. This number, harm minus armor, is called harm as established. Harm before 6 o'clock heals automatically with time. Harm after 9 o'clock gets worse with time unless stabilized. If the player marks the segment 11 to 12, the character's life has become untenable. When a character's life becomes untenable, the player has to choose how to continue. Death is one option, but there are others. Okay, so that's what we saw. Angels are about healing and stabilizing harm. See the harm and healing chapter for complete rules. Okay, we do have experience here because we said this doesn't get good until until number 6, right? Until session 6. Sable Phoenix says, see, the thing about the sex moves, you don't roll them every time your character has sex. They could be a whoremonger and go right to the brothel the minute you find any settlement, but you only roll a sex move if you're actually establishing some kind of emotional and mechanical consequence with the act. So that's what it was talking about when it was saying this is not just having sex with anybody. This is when it's purposeful, supposedly, when it's purposeful and meaningful in the game. That something is going to, so I guess this is, it seems like the difference between, okay, this is just having sex, if you're talking about some type of show or movie or something like that, when you go, okay, this was just having sex and nudity for the sake of having sex and nudity, okay, well, then we don't roll. But if we're actually advancing the plot in some way because of this human relationship, then we roll and we include it. And Sable says that's the way all of the moves work, frankly. Tomocrat says, yeah, emotional connection would be a better description. Let's see. Okay, so timeline of play, pre-prep play, first session, let the players through character creation escalate and build. Okay. So look at this. So why to play? 1, because the characters are fucking hot. 2, because hot as they are, the characters are best and hottest when you put them together. Lovers, rivals, friends, enemies, blood, and sex. That's the good shit. 3, because the characters are together against a horrific world. They're carving out their little space of hope and freedom in the filth and violence, and they're trying to hold on to it. Do they get it in them? Do they have it in them? What are they going to do to hold it together? Are they prepared, tough enough, strong enough, and willing? 4, because they're together, sure, but they're desperate and they're under a lot of pressure. If there's not enough to go around, and when is there ever, who'll stick together and who'll turn on whom? Who do you trust? And who should you trust? And what if you get it wrong? 5, because there's something really wrong with the world and I don't know what it is. The world wasn't always like this, blasted and brutal. There wasn't always a psychic maelstrom howling out of your perception, waiting for you to open your brain so that you can just rush in. Who fucked the world up and how? Is there a way back, a way forward? Is anybody going to find out? It's you and your characters. That's why. This has a touch. I'm thinking about publication history and timelines and things like that. Because this does seem like it has an element of like the Mork Borg stuff now, or what Brian is doing with Vast Grim, which, by the way, I did get sent some Vast Grim stuff because of the Kickstarter, like some downloads. So I saw that on the latest Vast Grim Kickstarter had books and things like that being printed up, and he sent out some PDFs. So we might have to look back at Vast Grim again. Okay, so these are the characters that it comes with. I'm going to get something else to drink here. Sable Phoenix says, I'm a big fan of Powered by the Apocalypse personally. Hawaiian Shirt Guy says, yeah, the basic way to think about moves is it's invoking a plot point and then rolling to see the outcome. Not least of which, why enjoying Powered by the Apocalypse, not least of which because it ultimately gave us Blades in the Dark, which I freaking love. Candela Obscura is basically Blades in the Dark, by the way. We're going to look at Blades in the Dark. Most of the moves are even named the same. There was a bit of an internet dust-up regarding just how much Candela cribbed from Blades in the Dark. Really? I missed that. Hang on. I'm going to pour something else to drink. Just 1 second. Whoa. Still Mongoose says, it definitely sounds influenced by some of the Forge theory. I don't know what that is. Oh, so this seems to be a game about character dynamics more than about questing. Sable Phoenix says, it's a quick start. The book is likely to say Forged in the Dark. So, okay, so here are our characters and what their moves are, which will include their sex moves. The Angel. Angels are medics. If you want everybody to love you, or at least rely on you, play an angel. Warning, if things are going well, maybe nobody will rely on you. Make interesting relationships so you stay relevant, or sabotage things, I guess. The Battle Babe. Even in a place as dangerous as the apocalypse world, Battle Babes are, well, they're the ones you should walk away from, eyes down, but can't. They're the ones like the seductive blue crackling light, you know. You mistake looking at them for falling in love, and you get too close and it's a zillion volts and your wings burn off like paper. Dangerous. Battle babes are good in battle, of course, but they're wicked social too. If you want to play somebody dangerous and provocative, play a battle babe. Warning, you might find that you're better at making trouble than getting out of it. If you want to play the baddest ass, play a gun lugger instead. The Brainer. Brainers are spooky, weird, and really fun to play. Their moves are powerful but strange. If you want everybody else to be at least a little bit afraid of you, a Brainer is a good choice. Warning, you'll be happy anyway, but you'll be happiest if somebody wants to have sex with you, even though you're a Brainer. Angle for that if you can. The Chopper? Oh, choppers lead biker gangs. Oh, something's going on weird in the chat. Well, maybe it has something to do with, like, I had some weird stuff going on over here this morning when the intro reset and stuff. So maybe something's going on this morning. Yeah, the PPL said, the PPL said CR ripped off Blades, though they do give a tip of the hat toward Blade. So Chopper, okay, so the Choppers lead biker gangs. They're powerful, but lots of their power is external in their gang. If you want weight to throw around, play a Chopper. But if you want to be really in charge, play a hard holder instead. Warning, externalizing your power means drama. Expect drama. The Driver. Drivers have cars, meaning mobility, freedom, and places to go. If you can't see the post-apocalypse without cars, you got to be a driver. Warning, your loose ties can accidentally keep you out of the action. Commit to the other characters to stay and play. The Gun Lugger. Gun luggers are the baddest asses. Their moves are simple, direct, and violent. Crude, even. If you want to take no shit, play a gun lugger. Warning, like angels, if things are going well, you might be kicking your heels. Interesting relationships can keep you in a scene. A hard holder. Hard holders are landlords, warlords, governors of their own little strongholds. If somebody plays a hard holder, the game's going to have a serious and immobile home base. If you want to be one who owns it, it better be you. Warning, don't be a hard holder unless you want the burdens. The Hocus? Hocuses have cult followers the way Choppers have gangs. They're strange, social, public, and compelling. If you want to sway mobs, play a Hocus. Warning, things are going to come looking for you. Being a cult leader means having to deal with your fucking cult. Good morning, Vision. The Maestro D runs a social establishment like a bar, a drug den, or a bordello. If you want to be sexier than a hard holder with fewer obligations and less shit to deal with, play a Maestro D. Savvy Head. These are techies. They have cool abilities in the form of their workspace and a couple of fun reality bending moves. Play a Savvy Head if you want to be yourself and useful as an ally, but maybe not the leader yourself. Oh, they got lots of these. Skinner. Skinners are pure hot. They're entirely social and have great directly manipulative moves. Play a Skinner if you want to be unignorable. Warning, Skinners have the tools, but unlike hard holders, choppers, and hocuses, they don't have a steady flux of motivation. They'll have the most fun if you can roll your own. All right, so here each character gets all of the basic moves. The basic moves are do something under fire, go aggro on someone, succor someone, do battle, seduce or manipulate someone, help or interfere with somebody, read a situation, read a person, open your brain to the world's psychic maelstrom, or session end. Oh, look, here's okay. Oh, no, this is specific to each one. So, for instance, we want to look at the sex moves for all of these. So this is the character sheet. So here was our countdown clock. Didn't it say something like damage between 12 and 6 will heal at the end of, like on its own or something like that? But once we go over here, it starts to get worse. So, for instance, the angel. If you and another character have sex, your HX with them on your sheet goes immediately to +3, and they immediately get +1 on their HX with you on their sheet. If that brings their HX with you to 4+, they reset it to +1 instead, as usual. So, mark experience. Oh, yeah, I remember there was something about you say you get experience when your relationship with other characters goes to some level or something like that. So the angel. So other angel moves. I suppose it'll tell us later how many of these we actually get, like in the beginning or something. Other moves, gear and barter, angel kit. Okay, so this is character folio. There's a lot here. So use it. So the angels were the healers. Establish and heal someone at 9 o'clock or past. Speed the recovery of someone 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Revive someone whose life has become untenable. Creating an angel. Oh, it's okay. There's a lot of information on the creating stuff. So names, looks, moves. Okay, so like okay, this says you get all the basic moves. Choose 2 angel moves. Okay, so we're going to check 2 of those. Probably you can get more of them later. This is the Battle Babe. Now, I remember this because I thought it was funny. So if you're playing the Battle Babe, if you and another character have sex, nullify the other character's sex move. Whatever it is, it just doesn't happen. So I can see somebody at the table, I use my sex move. And the player with the Battle Babe is like, I cancel your sex move. You can't cancel my... Oh, yes, I can. I cancel your sex move. Canceled. So Battle Babe nullifies another character's sex move. Tomocrat says, this game feels like something I would watch on the CW. So... Oh, see, dangerous and sexy. When you enter a charged situation, roll plus hot. On 10+, hold 2. On 7 to 9, hold 1. Spend your hold 1 for 1 to make eye contact with an NPC present who freezes or flinches and can't take action until you break it off. On a miss, your enemies identify you immediately as their foremost threat. Whereas impossible reflexes over here, the way you move unencumbered counts as armor. If you're naked or nearly naked, 2 armor. If you're wearing non-armor fashion, -1 armor. If you're wearing armor, use it instead. GURPS had bulletproof nudity. There were rules for bulletproof nudity, so the Battle Babes basically get that. Weapons. Creating a battle babe. So you choose 2 battle babe moves. So that seems to be the standard then. The brainer. If you and another character have sex, you automatically do a deep brain scan on them, whether you have the move or not. Roll plus weird as normal. However, the MC chooses which questions the other player's character answers. Deep brain scan. When you have time and physical intimacy with somebody, mutual intimacy like holding them in your arms, or one-sided intimacy, they're restrained to a table, you can read them more deeply than normal. Roll plus weird. On 10 plus, hold 3. On a 7 to 9, hold 1. When you're reading them, spend your hold to ask their players questions. 1 for 1. What was your character's lowest moment? What does your character's crave? For what does your character crave forgiveness, and from whom? What are your character's secret pains? In what way is your character's mind and soul vulnerable? When you have time and physical intimacy with somebody, again, mutual or one-sided, you can plant a command inside somebody's mind. That's in-brain puppet strings. Tomocrat says, I think I would try a battle babe just to mess with the other PCs. I can see that. I can see doing that too. Steel Mongoose says, RPGs generally don't present character-driven stories all that well. That seems to be the whole point of this one. Yeah, it has. So that's what it has going for it, I think. That's what I think it's trying to do. 2 brainer moves. Let's just go to Chopper. Okay, this is the biker gang. If you and another character have sex, they immediately change their sheet to say HX plus 3 with you. They also choose whether to give you -1 or +1 to your HX with them on your sheet. So in character drama. Yeah, in or between character drama. You only have 2 moves here? Oh, because you also have like the bike, your bike, and your gang. Okay, so yeah, because it said that your power was kind of external on this one. So your bike has stats, and then also your gang has stats. So you get the basic moves, you get the chopper moves, but then you got to do something for your gang, I guess. So this right here is the driver. If you and another character have sex, roll plus cool. On 10 plus, it's cool. No big deal. On 7 to 9, give them +1 to their HX with you on their sheet, but give yourself -1 to your HX with them on yours. On a miss, you got to go. On a miss, you got to go. Take -1 ongoing until you prove that it's not like they own you or nothing. Oh, okay. This is okay. On a miss, you got to go. As in, you got to go because you're. This is the one who's very transient because you got the car or you going someplace else. So you got to take -1 until. So I guess in the new lingo, I guess that would be that it means you caught some feelings. So you got to get out of there. And so you got stats for your car here. The gun lugger. If you and another character have sex, you take +1 forward. At your option, they take +1 forward too. Hard holder. If you and another character have sex, you can give the other characters gifts worth 1 barter at no cost to you. So you've got this is probably you've got stats based on your holding. Hocus. If you and another character have sex, each hold 1. Either of you can spend your hold at any time to help or interfere with the other at a distance or despite any barriers that would normally prevent it. That was the cult leader, right? Yeah, so you got stats for all of your cult too. Characterize your cult. No, By default, you have 20 followers, loyal to you but not fanatical. They have their own lives apart from you, integrated into the social population. Maestro D, if you hook up with another character with sex, with food, with something, whatever, it counts as having sex with them. Oh, if you just hook another character up. If you hook another character up with sex, with food, with something, whatever, it counts as having sex with them. Tomocrat says, Steel, yeah, let's see what was going on. I can see people at the table need to be relatively mature. I can see this game devolving quickly. I mean, with certain people, it certainly would. You got it. This is very much a system that's trying to give a solid mechanic to the social pillar. And also, interestingly, social pillar, yes, as much or as more than the combat and exploration. It is trying to do that, but it's also interesting that it's doing that in inner relationships of PCs. It's not just social interacting outside the group. It's very much interactions interior to your group and among the PCs. It's trying to give the role play is where the real work happens. Powered by the Apocalypse is just attempting to give you as solid a framework for that role play aspect as the rest of it, and trying to give mechanical effects. So rules for your establishment. The Savvy Head, if you and another character have sex, they automatically speak to you as though they were a thing, and you'd roll a 10 plus, whether you have the move or not. As though they were a thing. So that's like some kind of move down here. Oh, things speak. Okay, things speak. Whenever you handle or examine something interesting, roll plus weird. So, okay, so they speak to you as if they were a thing according to that ability. And you'd roll 10 plus, whether you have the move or not. The other player and the MC will answer the questions between them. Otherwise, this move never works on people, only things. Oh, no. Otherwise, I was like, oh my God, where are we going there? Otherwise, that move never works on people, only on things. Rules for your workspace. So that was the fixer. The Skinner. If you and another character have sex, choose one. You take one forward, and so do they. You take +1 forward, and they take -1. Choose one. They must give you a gift worth at least 1 barter. Or you can hypnotize them as though you'd rolled a 10 plus, even though you haven't chosen to get the move. This was the Skinner. Okay, so that's all of our character types and their sex moves. The basic moves. When you do something under fire or dig in to endure fire, roll plus cool. On 10 plus, you do it. On 7 to 9, you flinch, hesitate, or stall. The GM can offer a worse outcome, a hard bargain, or an ugly choice. On a miss, be prepared for the worst. When you go aggro on someone, make it clear that you want them to do it and what you want them to do and what you will do to them. Roll versus hard. Sucker someone. If you attack someone unsuspecting or helpless, ask the MC if you could miss. If you could, treat it as going aggro, but your victim has no choice to cave and do what you want. If you couldn't, simply inflict harm as established. Do battle. If you're in battle, you can bring the battle moves into play. Seduce or manipulate someone. If you want to try to seduce, manipulate, bluff, fast talk, or lie to someone, tell them what you want them to do. Give them a reason and roll versus hot. For NPCs, on a 10 plus, they'll go along with you until or unless some fact or action betrays the reason you gave them. On a 7 to 9, they'll go along, but they need some concrete assurance, collaboration, or evidence first. For PCs, on a 10 plus, both. On 7 to 9, choose one. If they go along with you, they mark experience. If they refuse, erase one of their stat highlights for the remainder of the session. What they do then is up to them. Help or interfere with someone. Read a sitch. Read a charged situation. What's my best escape route? You're asking questions. What's the enemy's most vulnerable to me? Which enemy is the biggest threat? What should I be on the lookout for? Read a person. Is the person telling the truth? What's your character really feeling? What does your character intend to do? Open your brain to the psychic maelstrom. When you open your brain to the psychic maelstrom, roll plus weird. On a hit, the MC tells you something new and interesting about the current situation and might ask you a question or two. Answer them. On a 10 plus, the MC gives good detail. On a 7 to 9, the MC gives you an impression. Session ends. So what is that? At the end of every session, choose a character who knows you better than they used to. If there's more than one, choose one at your whim. Tell that player to add +1 to their HX with you on their sheet. If this brings them to HX +4, they reset to HX +1 and therefore mark experience. If no one knows you better, choose a character who doesn't know you as well as they thought, or choose any character at your whim. Tell that player to take -1 to their HX with you on their sheet. If this brings them to HX -3, they reset to HX 0 and therefore mark experience. Huh. Let's see. It's interesting how many of the playbooks seem to be centered on a location. Oddly, it seems like you wouldn't be able to easily play a Mad Max Road Warrior style game with this. Well, it told you beware. If you take some of them, then you're going to be static. This is a very single pillar RPG social main, with exploration being minor and combat being very low, because your experience comes from your social relationships. That's what we're talking about, the HX. I can see all the sessions being nothing but all in the tavern, which I'll admit can be very fun, but I myself need to do some exploration. Okay, let's go. We still got time, but let's not do character creation. We kind of looked at it. Had like how to create one. We were looking at the stats, looking at the character playbooks. So character creation. What's next after that? The Master of Ceremonies. The Game Master. The first session, threats. Moves, Snowball, PC versus PC. The basic moves. Peripheral moves. Battle moves. Character moves. I guess we'd better take a look at different kinds of moves. Harm and healing. Improvement. Okay, so it's skipping character generation and skipping basic game master stuff. Oh, look, countdown clocks. Threats. Okay. Let's look at countdown clocks. Countdown clock. Okay. A countdown clock is a reminder to you as the MC that your threats have impulse, direction, plans, intentions, the will to sustain action, and to respond coherently to others. When you create a threat, if you have a vision of its future, give it a countdown clock. You can also add countdown clocks to threats you've already created. Around the clock, note some things that'll happen. Before 9 o'clock, that thing's coming but preventable. What are the clues? What are the triggers? What are the steps? Between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock, that thing is inevitable, but there's still time to brace for impact. What signifies it? At 12 o'clock, the threat gets its full active expression. What is it? As you play, advance the clocks, each at their own pace, by marking their segments. Countdown clocks are both descriptive and prescriptive. Descriptive, when something you've listed happens, Advance the clock to that point. Prescriptive. When you advance the clock otherwise, it causes the things you've listed. Okay, so if something happens that's on the clock, make sure it's at that point. But on the other hand, I suppose if that's time that's going, that causes the thing you've listed around the clock. Furthermore, countdown clocks can be derailed. When something happens that changes circumstances so the countdown no longer makes sense, just scribble it out. For the most part, list things that are beyond the player character's control. NPCs' decisions and actions, conditions in a population or landscape, off-screen relations between rival compounds, the instability of a window into the world's psychic maelstrom. When you list something within the player's control, always list it as if, implied or explicit. If Bish goes out into the ruins, not Bish goes out into the ruins. Prep circumstances, pressures, and developing NPC actions. I was wanting more out of that. Okay, so I was looking, maybe there's stuff later. Oh, there is a threat. Wait, what is threat map? Mark on the map the threat's location, and if it's moving, its direction. The innermost circle is for the PCs, gangs, holding, vehicles, etc. The first ring out is for threats or near the PCs. The outer ring is for threats at and past the PC's horizon. Mark notational threats, rumors, fears. Here be monsters outside the map. N, S, E, and W are the cardinal directions. So what is this? Okay. Moves. Example threats. So the threat has a map. So the furnace crew, it's internal. This is kind of hard to read because it's in because of its text here. To consume impulse to consume resources, descriptions, and cast Rourke. This one has a threat timer on it. Threat 3, the water, is that water cut, the water cut or water cult maybe? Delusion, to dominate choices and actions, its location. Custom move and countdown. NPCs join, someone in Uncle's gangs join, more NPCs. They approach the PCs, they demand the PCs join, and then revolt and overthrow. Is that countdown clock? Has anybody played one of these threat maps? So this is, okay, so that U is up, down, out. So moves snowball. Still Mongoose says, okay, there's a direct Ron Edwards reference. I don't know what that is. Oh. Ron Edwards is a game. Yes. And the GNS theory. Okay. Gotcha. So it looks like the Blades in the Dark just converted the threat maps into nested clocks. Moves snowball. Okay. Any given conflict between characters, one move alone probably won't resolve it. Very often it'll take several moves and counter moves, a whole back and forth between them. Hitting rolls on 7 to 9 especially usually leaves a whole lot unresolved, primed for follow through or a counter strike. The moves cascade very naturally. Holds overlap, overcomes, nest, and double up and flow seamlessly into new moves. Just remember the rule. If you do it, you do it. To do it, you have to do it. And see their logic through. Here's an extended example. Okay, this is probably something we need here. If you started at the front of the book and worked your way forward here, you'll recognize the MC moves, but it also includes basic moves, brainer moves, and battle moves, and uses the rules for gear and harm pretty extensively. You can skip the following chapters to read up on those if you want, but I think you'll be able to follow the logic of the action and the context without reading ahead. I bet we will. We'll see. Marie the Brainer goes looking for Isle to visit grief upon her and finds her eating canned peaches on the roof of the car shed with her brother Mill and her lover Plover, all NPCs. I read the situation, her player says. You do? It's charged, I say. Who is I? Her player says. Okay, so no, I read the situation, her player says. You do? It's charged, I say. It is now. Ah, I say. I understand perfectly. The 3 NPCs don't realize it, but Marie's arrival charges the situation. If it were a movie, the soundtrack would pick up Getting Sinister. She rolls plus sharp and hits with a 7 to 9, so she gets to ask me one question. So me must be the MC. So she gets to ask me one question from that moves list. Which of my enemies is the biggest threat, she says. Plover, I say. So that's I read the situation. And so that's why, because we read the situation, we made this die roll. Plover, I say. No doubt. He's out of his armor, but he has a little gun in his boot. And he's a hard fucker. Mill's just 12. And he's not a violent kid. Isle's tougher, but not like Plover. See me misdirect. I just choose one capriciously, then pointed to fictional details as though they've made the decision. We've never even seen Mill on screen before. I just now made up that he's 12 and he's not violent. Okay, Now I want an escape route. Can I read the situation again? Of course not. Once is what you get, unless the situation substantially changes. Okay, I do direct brain whisper projection on Isle. Cool, what do you do? Well, we don't have to interact, so I'm walking past under their feet where she can see me, and I whisper into her brain without looking up. She rolls plus weird and hits on 10 plus. What's your whisper? Follow me, she says. Yeah, I say. She inches her butt forward to drop down behind you, but then tips her head like she's thinking of something. Don't do it, Marie's player says. I am confused about who's speaking right here in some of these situations. Oh, troll babe. Let's see. I did see something about troll babe go by. If you're talking about like RPG stuff, RPG development's fine. Sable Phoenix says, Sorcerer is also great. I don't know that one. Too many games. Yeah, I know. That's the problem we all have around here. So I am confused about what's happening here because I don't know who is speaking in all of this. Okay, but I guess this is the character. Cool, what do you do? Okay. What's your whisper? Follow me, she says. Yeah. She forces your hand, I say. She takes one harm, right? Loud, optional, right? So loud or not? Okay, I'm not getting this. Oh, this is long. That's long, so I wasn't exactly getting it. I think I would. I just think the way that it's described, going through it like this, I don't get it. Anon says, Troll Babe has a lot in common conceptually with lasers and feelings. That one's a very simple one, right? I think I've read Lasers and Feelings. What a great name. Lasers and Feelings. Okay. Well, the basic moves: act under fire, Go aggro. So, okay, so examples so going aggro. Marie the Brainer walks up behind Joe's girl and pokes her in the ribs with her scalpel. Come with me, she says. She misses the roll though, so I get to make as hard a move as I like in response. I chose to inflict harm and bonus put her on the spot. Damn, Joe's girl is fast, I say. She slams you in the face with her elbow. Take 1 harm. Knocks you down, kicks your scalpel away, and by the time you realize what's happening, she's kneeling over you with her pistol up under your jaw. What do? Bran the Savvy Head yells at Fleece, calls him a waste of meat, and threatens to push him off the roof. He hits with a roll of a 9. Fleece backs off, hands up, half laughing, half terrified. I say, he's all, what, Bran? What do? Sucker someone. In battle. Okay, when you're in battle, you can bring the battle moves into play. If the player doesn't have a battle move already in mind, you can almost always use Seize by Force. Consider it to be the basic battle move. To seize something by force, exchange harm, but first roll plus hard. On a 10 plus, choose 3. On 7 to 9, choose 2. On a miss, choose 1. And your choices are inflict terrible harm, you suffer little harm, you take definite and undeniable control of it, you impress, dismay, or frighten your enemy. Seduce or manipulate. Has anybody's opinions on this changed since we've been going through it? Reading a situation, open your brain, help or interfere, mutual interference, lifestyle, working gigs, session end. So that was the examples of changing people's. We saw this before, actually. At the end of every session, choose a character who knows you better than they used to. If there's more than one, choose one at your whim. Tell that player to add +1 to their HX with you on their sheet. That player, if that brings them to HX +4, they reset to HX +1 and mark experience. If no one knows you better, choose a character who does not know you well as they thought, and choose any character at your whim. They take -1. If they go -3, reset to 0 and mark experience. If you forget to do this, make sure you do it before you start again. This is important. Every player has to choose someone, no passing. So examples. So resetting HS from +1 to +4 to +1 doesn't mean you now know them less than you did. Obviously not. It means you've crossed a threshold of knowing them, kind of like how both of your brothers know you better than a coworker does. How both of your brothers know you better than a coworker does, but you can still say that one of them knows you better than the other. Some groups play that when you reset your HX with someone, they have to tell you a secret to reflect the fact that you've crossed this kind of threshold with them. It's a good rule if you'd like to adopt it for yourself. So, for example, during a session, Marie and Keeler had a light but honest conversation. And Marie said maybe something that wasn't a big deal, but she'd never said to anyone before. Marie's player tells Keeler's to take +1 HX. Keeler, however, was completely appalled by what Marie said and withdrew from her abruptly. Marie didn't even notice, but kept right on talking. Keeler's player tells Marie to take -1 HX. During the session, Bran pursued his own interests mostly apart from the other two, but enlisted and had conversations with both of them at different times. He chooses to tell Marie's player to take the +1 HX more or less arbitrarily and figures he'll choose Keeler next time. Most powered by the apocalypse seems to have simplified this system a bit. Monster of the Week is definitely leaner. Yeah, I thought that Lasers and Feelings was really, really short. Andrew says, seems like you have to learn a lot of these possible options, but maybe I need to watch more apocalyptic stuff and dramatic post-apocalyptic stuff. I can also see like the teen drama aspect. I think it seems like there are aspects of this could be like teen drama in the post-apocalypse. Well, okay. Okay, this goes through all the different moves for all of the different individuals. When an NPC suffers harm, wasn't there something about exchanging harm when life becomes untenable? The harm moves. When a PC suffers harm, you're filling out your clock. So it says with time, so harm will go away by itself with time before 6 o'clock. With time and by itself are largely up to you as the MC, but you should make them asymmetrical. Harm should heal slowly, but get worse rapidly. If the character's up and running around, they should make harm get worse more quickly. They should make harm get worse more quickly, but get better more slowly. Because Brand's harm is before 6 o'clock, it'll get better by itself with time. If he doesn't get help, maybe I'll let his character erase the 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock mark at the beginning of the next session, and maybe the 12 to 3 o'clock mark the session after, depending on what happens. Notice that the way these numbers work, a player's character can take 1 bullet for free, essentially. The second bullet, or the third with armor, is a serious one. This is straightforward, old-fashioned cinematic casualty. When a gang suffers harm, does the gang hold together, using a vehicle as a weapon? Psychic harm? Deprivation? Healing? And then a bunch of gear stuff. Huh. Well, yeah, it has been a long time since I have read this. So this is definitely... So this does say, let's look at this. I was interested to see what it said its inspirations are. So let's do this. We just a couple minutes. So let's do that. Live development. Okay, play testers. Immediate game influences. 316. I don't know that. Ars Magica. Bacchanal. I don't know that one. The Burning Wheel. I haven't read that one. The Mountain Witch. Mouse Guard. So I don't know. I don't know any of those influences. I don't think I've read any of those. Primetime Adventures. Oh, some more. Primetime Adventures, Shadow of Yesterday, Sorcerer. Okay, you guys were talking about that. I don't know that one. So Troll Babe by Ron Edwards right there. There we go. XXX Extreme Street Luge. So yeah, I don't actually know any of these that it's talking about here. Character moves are based on secrets in the Shadow of Yesterday by Clinton R. Nixon. So this is a completely different side of gaming that I'm just not familiar with. This is interesting. So it brings in a different side. Highlighted stats work very much like keys in the same. Highlighted stats also follow fan mail in Primetime Adventures by Matt Wilson. HX is based on Trust in The Mountain Witch by Timothy Kleinert. Stakes questions are based on Stakes in Troll Babe by Ron Edwards. Threat countdowns are based on Bangs in Sorcerer by Ron Edwards. Holding Creation et al. Is based on Covenant Creation in Ars Magica. Second edition by Lion Rabbit. The character Sex Moves was inspired by Sex and Sorcerer by Ron Edwards. The character Playbook was inspired by XXXX Extreme Street Luge. Tell them the possible consequences and ask and offer an opportunity with or without cost are based partly on Taxi Service of Al Amarjara by Jonathan Tweet. Amarja? The entire game designs follows from Narrativism Story Now by Ron Edwards. Online resources, The Forge. Weren't we talking about The Forge in the comments? Now closed. Game Design Studio. Barf Fourth Apocalyptica. The G Plus powered by the Apocalypse Community, the Apocalypse World subreddit. Story Games. Huh. Media influences. So that's quite comprehensive kind of understanding how this came up. Sex ed. Okay. The countdown clock. Oh, so the countdown clock, if you are to travel to the 80s, you might not know that we had a countdown clock then. The way these days we have a colorful alert levels. 12 o'clock midnight meant mutual U.S. and USSR nuclear annihilation. Thing is, they never set the clock to any time before 11:45, just like they've never set the threat level cooler than yellow. The countdown clock, unlike a real clock, wasn't evenly distributed. 1 unit detail per 6 degrees. Before 11:45, it was abstract, even notational. All the real details came after 11:45. That's why Apocalypse World's countdown clock is the way that it is. Someone pointed out to me rather late in development the gasoline evaporates like FFT 50 years after the apocalypse. Not a drop of refined gas left. Turns out I can live with it. If it bugs you, pretend I meant biodiesel or all along. I guess the biodiesel doesn't evaporate like gas does or something. Indie RPG publishing. Well, all right. This is a different side of gaming. Moves index. Andrew says, I knew it as the doomsday clock. Yeah, the doomsday clock. Okay, that answers that. This is definitely post-Forge. Anon says, a surprising number of powered by the apocalypse-based RPGs are teen dramas for some reasons. Really, Masks, Monster Hearts, Avatar. Maybe that's why I don't know them. So this game would be perfect to play the Book of Eli. That would, yeah, okay, I can see that, yes. Andrew says, I can see why it would take a few sessions to get the hang of it, which might be too much to ask in a world where game time is limited for some of us. All right. So, but now we know. So if you were not familiar, like I said, this has been a long time. This is a good memory refresher for me because Powered by the Apocalypse does come up. So Powered by the Apocalypse games are based on, to a greater or lesser degrees, the mechanics that we just looked at here. So now we know. So if you were not familiar with that, when that comes up in the chat and elsewhere, now we know. All right. I, as always, have a whole bunch of work to do, and cleaning this house would also be a good thing to do. And I got to go fix a lawnmower so I can cut grass. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Go be creative, be constructive, or get necessary work done as well around the house. I will see everybody tomorrow, and until tomorrow morning, grind on.